Bonsai World. Patricia O'Connor and Frida Reba Darcy here tonight. We're at Frida's place on the bonsai balcony. It is Saturday night. This is our Ponderosa, Yamadori. I'm Patricia O'Connor. This is Frida Reba Darcy, my sidekick. My trusty sidekick. This is her payoff. I pay the kids. There you go, babe. And tonight's show was going to be Saturday Night Live Bonsai, but I pulled an audible about an hour and a half ago when I saw how late I was actually going to get started for a live program out here on the West Coast, and thought, yeah, don't do that to anybody. It's not Sunday morning live. That would be although Church of Bonsai would be something I would probably go to. That would be a church I could get behind. What we're looking at is my Yamadori Ponderosa pine. It's one of my favorite trees in the collection. We've done a little bit to it since I've gotten it. It came from Deadwood, South Dakota. I already mentioned it was a Yamadori. It was collected a couple of years ago now and probably put in a container. I don't know that. This is in a oversized bonsai training pot currently for root development reasons is why you would do that. And this is the pot that it came to me in, and it's also the one that it'll probably spend the next couple of years in. I'd love to see this in something a little bit more, but we've got stuff going on ahead of us here. In the time that I've had it, the guy that collected it in Deadwood, South Dakota, did a really nice job of putting some copper wire to it and sent it to me, and then I took and restyled and repositioned a lot of the branches quite drastically different than what it was when I got it. And then over the winter I had it grafted. I had it overstay at another bonsai garden over winter, I should say, in a colder climate, so that it would better acclimate over the winter and not go through one of our rather warm winters. And I was doing that because I wanted to try to preserve the health of the tree, and also towards close to time to pick up the tree, I reached out to the guy that had the garden, and we discussed whether or not it would be feasible to graft this, and we decided it was feasible that we were a go. And so it got 6 Japanese black pine grafts, which are under tape that you can see there. So this happened after I had already repositioned a lot of the branches, and whenever he grafted it, he went to a lot of the branches where it had been wrapped in heavy gauge copper from the collector, and cut a lot of that copper away so that they wouldn't interfere with those grafts, which was totally fine. Also, I had compressed this bend here and set it with a guy wire, basically a noose, and that ended up getting cut loose for the grafts also. Again, no problem with that. And a lot of the stuff that was then wired will probably not be the future of the tree when we think about it. If those grafts are successful, those will be the future of the tree, and the future of the tree won't cover a lot of these things that we have that are finally now covered in copper and twisted and wrapped around and stuff. That's all Ponderosa foliage. And if those grafts, those 6, do not take, as in none of them, then we'll regraft it and start over next year but eventually that'll be that. And at some point, we will have cut back all of the Ponderosa foliage into all we will have left in those branches and stuff will be the stuff that we have decided will be gins, flash. So I've come to be good with that. I like the future of this tree. I like the way this tree is developing. My job as I got it and as I saw it originally was to feed and water this tree. If I wanted to ever get the needles to get shorter, the way about that is to feed it and water and take super good care of it and let it blow out its needles until it, that's for another show. But the point is, you let it produce a lot of needles and then eventually they start shortening up. So, that could have been something but with our grafts going, this is going also a different way. And the other day, when I was on the balcony and doing a show, I love the smell of the sap of this tree. It smells like butterscotch. I noticed something peculiar. One, I noticed drops of beautiful sap coming out of this tree. And at one point, I noticed that it was also blue. And I thought, how odd. Why would blue sap be coming out of a Ponderosa pine? And then I realized that it was some places where I would see this sap was not where it was coming from, but was in line from where it dripped from where it dripped above. And if I looked and tried to find the source of where it was coming, it didn't take long to see it was coming out in between the bands of copper wire. That explains the blue color. That's tarnished copper coming off in that resin that forms these crystal, otherwise clear, beautiful drops coming out of this tree. And as kind of cool as that looks, if I remember some of my Ponderosa lessons, that's not the best cause and effect as to why I would be seeing sap coming out in between the strands of copper on this tree. Well, I have been feeding and watering this tree, and in that I have been hoping for an outcome that would be a fatter trunk. I was looking to beef the, if I'm not going to try to make these needles shorter because we're going to be cutting all of these off eventually, at least I could be doing is feeding and watering the tree and fattening it up while we're going through this process. And I'm going, come on, get fatter, go baby, go. And it's doing that. And so now those wires are biting in quite a bit. And while I'm not, that doesn't particularly scare me when it comes to pines, I have been warned, or some of the teachings that I've been seeing have warned against letting your ponderosas bleed from damage, that they're not as resilient from that possibly not as resilient from that as their pine counterparts. So with that in mind, I'm not too thrilled about it digging in to the tree to the point to where it causes it to bleed sap. So what I am doing tonight is we are removing this beautiful copper wiring job that's been on here, but it's done its job or it hadn't. This stuff is also doesn't need wire marks in it if at best its future is going to be as gins, then it can't have wire scars, because as gins go, they don't recover from marks that are on them. Yeah, you don't come back from that if you're a gin. So yeah, at that point the wire doesn't help us, but where it is causing the tree to bleed out could. And for that reason, what we're going to be doing is being on the lookout for sources where that's happened, and also for any place that we would be adding to that by removing this wire. If separating the wire from that tissue causes it to look like some place that could bleed out, then that too will be something that I'll be wanting to deal with. And by deal with it, I mean we want to paste all that up. One of the people for whom I have learned a lot about Ponderosas from are the guys at Bonsai Mirai. And Ryan says he has lost Ponderosas over wounds that he would never have been concerned with on a pine tree. But looking back at cause and effect for what killed a particular tree, that was the only thing he could go back to. That was the only thing he could see was so I think that I've done a little bit to this tree this year. Having it grafted and stuff is pretty exciting. How that all turns out at the end of the day will also, win, lose, or draw, it'll all be pretty exciting. But I'm really, really looking forward to bringing this guy along, and I'm hoping it goes well. It will. It'll go well. This tree is the reason why I'm concerned with the amount. I'm trying to find a place where I can get a bite on this farm. Maybe I should just go right here. The reason I'm concerned is because it's bleeding out. But the reason it's bleeding out is the feeding and the watering that we're doing is working. And the end result of that is that that's a lot. Golly, is it the branches are a lot fatter now, and that's why I'm seeing the need to go through here and clean things up. To clean things up, we will. I don't know whether or not I just didn't get the bite I thought I did. If it's going to be that obstinate, I don't want to turn that into a jagged edge. Yeah, like I just did. Okay. So I think it's a positive thing. Just to make sure that we're ensuring the health of this tree, and also I love working on this tree. I just truly do. Sometimes move the branch, and sometimes I move the wire. It's a matter of which is the most pliable at the moment. Oh, it added advantage to this not being live. This would probably be a good time to fast forward. Let's see. Okay. Trying to come in behind all of the foliage here so as not to scar things up too much, bend the needles, but golly, they're everywhere. I tell you, they're everywhere. Gonna be a lot of copper when we're done with this guy. We got such a late start because it was laundry day. It was laundry day at the O'Connor Dorsey household, and it took a while. It took a minute. Okay. We are, we're winning. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure, but I think this might be something I did too. I don't know, I don't think, yeah. Can't move this because I think I seem to have wires crossing. I may be the one who did this, I don't remember. I didn't do the heavy wiring, but I may have done some of the small stuff. And this one I can't quite get loose because it's wired down, so I have to now find the end of the one that has it wired down. Who did that? Who owned her? It was either me or it was the guy that collected it. And if the guy that collected it did that, no harm, no foul. The wiring he did, the heavy copper he put on here, which you will see later, some of, was really nice looking. It was really nice looking. It asked that to the tree. Handsomely wired, I would say. trying to figure out how to untie a knot of wires by feel. There. Not for the squeamish. Cool. Where is the Oh my God, I know this is like watching paint dry, right? Well, okay, yeah, I know. I don't have any problem with that. I think okay. All right. Let's keep moving. A long way to go here. Wow. Very end of the wire, at the very tip where it's on the end here, is not only the most work hardened, but it happens to be cut rather jagged, so that if you grab that end and push on it, you're slightly more likely to embed it in the end of your finger than you are to actually move anything. These are very tiny channel locks. And they were exactly what we needed, exactly when we needed it. And those are actually made by the Channel Lock Company. They are kind of cute. I give them that. They are cute, but those are real Channel Lock. Today was bizarre, historically speaking. It's July 13th, Okay, I was just looking. I could see a little piece of bark. It looked like it was swinging from a spider web. And I wanted to make sure it was a piece of bark and not a spider. Because, we're not going to go out hurting any spiders. We don't. They can hang here as long as they want. Most of them. Just about any spider I can see is pretty much welcome to hang out here. Oh, I guess I could. It's almost gone already. Yes, I love it. I went to remove it and I'd already freed us. Freed us? Are you freed us? Oh, some of these guys are buried kind of deep. I am a little concerned. I don't think I cut that wire through. I think it, yeah, I didn't. Oh, man. Okay. Get up, Pat. Dang. Yeah, that was a pretty tough wiring job. That guy was hard to move, and that's one wrap away from where I see our injury. Golly. Easy, Pat. Pretty heavy gauge, and from my end it appears to be pretty work hardened. And we can't go tearing anything up, getting it off either. That's the rules. Them's the rules. cheater. A cheater bar would almost be helpful. Go getting all grubby. Really important to remove the wire straight out of the trough that it is made for itself, as straight out of it as you can. That will, at the end of the day, do less damage I need. Okay. All right. I'm going to try to cut this guy back now in a place where it looks a little more exposed. With some success. Everything's gonna get cut pasted when we're done on the back side of this. Didn't pop. These guys are tough. I should have been able to cut that right in there. It was hanging on by a thread. Okay, we are finding some of this to be kind of a tough go, but on the whole, it's been going, and there's not a place that I've gotten to yet where I felt like I was just absolutely stopped. Though some of it looks like it's been, some of it's been a little more difficult. Get that with bigger pliers now, Patricia. I have the right tools handy. Every time I've looked that I've needed something, I've had it right there. Tonight, the tools of choice are a large set of radial pliers, which is what I call the pliers I'm using now. The red things that I have that look like bolt cutters are red bolt cutters, called Nipex, from the Nipex company. Those are great, these guys. And the small channel locks y'all saw me pull out earlier. No. On one hand, I don't want to swing, I don't want to leave a piece of wire too long, so that as I unwrap it from the tree, I cause other scars or damages or rub stuff with it on the other. While on the other hand, the length of it is helpful when it comes to removing it. You can use its length as a lever to pull the wire out in its existing tracks, which is, as I was saying earlier, is kind of a big deal. The other thing, all that trouble, you also have to be concerned with the wire rotating farther up where I'm trying to farther up than I'm unwrapping it. If it rotates up there ahead of me, then it's scarring up and probably causing more of exactly the kind of thing that I'm trying to stop, which is the heat of the summer and the lighter sap finding all these places to come running out. At the end of the day, seeing that was in fact a direct result, I think, of exactly some things that we want to happen, which is growth. Those branches are fattening up, and as they do, they're getting a little bit of damage from the wire that had them confined. Ooh. This is going well. The making of any particular show on or about this tree is nowhere near what this tree would be worth to me. So the thing, when I decided not to do the live show tonight, I still knew that I still knew that I wanted to do what we're doing now, because it was time to do that. This was something I saw that I felt like needed to be taken care of right away. lot of copper. I left enough on there to keep going, yes? Yes. Golly. Yeah. He. Okay. Okay. I think I'm making pretty good headway now. I mean, I kind of like the direction this is going. Yay for our son. Oh, 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 oh. Oh. God. this tree is so lush and full. It is just busting out. It's really good to see. I mean, on one hand, I could say, well, I'll still, but it is an example of how much energy is in this tree and how well it's doing at the moment. And all the signs is that this guy is pretty much loving life. And I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome. We just want to continue to do all the things that keep this guy lush and full of energy. And the other thing is to look forward to is these Japanese black pine grafts. They typically, historically, would be said that they have a fairly good survival rate, especially when done by a known professional. So I'm not putting any pressure on anybody, especially this tree, but the odds are good. That our Japanese black pine foliage will take. And once Japanese black pine foliage takes on a ponderosa, it tends to do very well. It finds the vascular system of a ponderosa to be a good source of everything it needs. These buds, when they take, will flourish in a way that even the original Ponderosa stock would not. It is just something that happens when you get these guys going. I got lost. I sat down so I could see what I was doing down here and got lost. So this is the make it or break it point for those 6 little buds. This is the point at which they have a future in becoming a dominant part of this tree, or they become a failed graft and better luck next year. So yeah, pretty exciting. And as long as something doesn't happen and we lose the tree, then we will always have next year to fight again. That's what's, like anybody else, that's what we have to worry about. It's just losing the tree. And right now, all signs are pretty much golden. I can almost also tell you that all signs point to Klutzy Pat creating a little bit of needle damage. Right now, everything looks really good, and y'all see me grabbing the back of these candles. I mean the back of these clusters, like I know what I'm doing. But in a couple of months, when all the ones that I accidentally folded over change colors where that happened, it'll look like they went through a hard day, and that will be me. That was me. But it can get over that. I think it can get over that and a lot of other stuff more readily than it can get over the constant hemorrhaging of sap the way we were doing it. At the end of the day, we're going to be using quite a bit of this. And I already see where some of it's going. Maybe in fact, go ahead and go on in there. Only in places where I'm already pretty much finished with it though. Yeah, just poke yourself with all that stuff. The secret to this stuff is the same thing you would tell somebody before they stick their finger in a light socket. Lick your fingers first. No, don't tell anybody to do that before they stick their fingers in a light socket. I mean, unless it's just purely for the fun of. Anyway, yeah, no, don't be sadistic, Pat. It will just as easily stick to you as it would the thing you're trying to get it to adhere to. So if you moisten your fingers first, it'll more likely stick to the tree instead of your finger, and that will allow you to push the stuff where you want to apply it without pulling your finger away and seeing that you just pushed it right onto your finger even better. Yeah, we've got a thorough coating of cut paste on our index fingernail in case we should decide. So I'm going in some of these tracks with that little little rope I just made out of cut paste. Just dabbed it right on in there. Okay, any more I apply there will end up being in my way. So I'll stop. I'll stop for a minute. We have got this branch done and about half of this branch done. And a ways to go yet. I'm looking for places where I can get in here and get a free shot at this copper. There's not a lot of places where it doesn't look like it's at least a little embedded, but there are a few, and I'm going to see if I can get in here without doing a lot of damage to other stuff. And put the bite on this guy. I did. I cut that all the way through. So that is one of two, and it lost. I could feel its integrity go when I snipped it through. Oh. The one next to it got away a little. Man, that's some hard work. This is a job for tiny channel logs. Actually, it was. Strong enough and enough leverage to allow me to do what I wanted to do. Those little guys Those little guys are, I think that's twice tonight where that was just so the perfect tool for the job. Anything else would have been too big. Anything, and a lot of other tools that small wouldn't have been near strong enough to do what I just did. Ugh. Any chance I can get that going? I can't get this guy while I'm right here. And then I can get this guy while I'm right here. I used to find myself in some pretty wild pretzels because of photography. Photographers can find that they're trying to conform to some space, some ridiculous space, so that they can see down the shutter while doing something, getting the absolute maximum out of a frame or something. You end up in the corner of a room still trying to see down the shutter to see if you've got everything. You've got to somehow get your head behind there and look. Just, it's the things you think about when you're laying on your back on the couch looking up at a tree. Most people won't be sitting on their couch in their living room looking up at a tree from the bottom. But then, you know, we're not most people. Also, my couch is the day bed. It's a really, really old antique day bed. Where does it start? Wire just kind of gets up in here with the needles and disappears, just like a really good wire. Oh, there it is. Ow. Okay. Hi. If I have been half in the camera or half mostly not in frame, I am not as concerned with that as I was concerned with whether or not we were going to be able to get the tree in the shot the way we wanted. This is most definitely the star of the show. We're getting close on this. I don't mean time-wise. I'll be doing this for a long time still. Yeah. We're getting close on this I'm just kind of doing this by braille, but it's so far in the needles I wouldn't be able to see it if I had my whole head up in there with it. The good news is I'm almost done with it. Ta-da! Ta freaking da! Some pretty tough stuff, y'all. Easy. This is going to be quite the undertaking. And for those of you who can't get enough Ponderosa, I'm sure this is going to be enough Ponderosa. Okay. You can smell the burn from here, as they say. Who says that? Well, I go around smelling the keep wanting to brag about no bloodlettings, but we're not done yet. So there wasn't. I'm not bragging. Not bragging. Definitely not bragging. The amount of trenching on there is kind of excessive. It looks dry. It does. It looks dry and stuff, but I'm probably gonna just like make some kind of cut paste cast around. That is trenched in there. The good news is, wow, that's a lot of growth. Pine needles and pat hair. Stuff flying everywhere. I'll leave a little length on this wire because I'm probably going to need to lever it. It's not an easy wire to bend, but we were able to cut that much of that off. Some people are probably looking at that and going, wow, why are you wasting all that copper? I am. wasting all the copper because I don't reuse copper like this. I'd have to straighten it out. I'd have to fire it. I'd have to do a lot of. I don't want to do all that. Also, in order to make sure that I kept it as long as possible, I'd have to run the risk of doing more harm to the tree than I'm willing to. Now, somewhere I know somebody is like, not the way I do. Okay, granted, but I don't want to have to worry about saving wire. I'm more concerned with the work I do to the tree in this whole process. Okay. This thing has budded out so much this year. It looks like it's had it looks like on its end it's had a fairly productive year, and on our end I would say it's been a fairly productive year. Why am I lost there? Because it's dug in. This wire. Score. Tree is getting lighter by the minute. Hopefully that's not foliage count. Oh, that was hard to bend. Pretty tough going here. This is some tough wire. Okay. Make hay while the sun's shining. Got a smaller wire that just, as I'm pushing one wire around the smaller wire, kind of raised up an exposed part of it that I could cut away, and I took advantage of that and cut it away while I had it there. How are y'all doing? Everybody okay? I hope everybody has their favorite beverage or whatever, and they're uh, all chill. This is not like the easiest, but on the other hand, we're not getting too excited about it. I think we're keeping a pretty cool head. I think we're minimizing any damage on our part for the most part. Okay. I haven't cut anything and seen limbs of tree fall off yet. That's always a plus. But this guy, it glistens. You know, what gets warm in the weather and the sap gets thinner and the tree is moving all this stuff around. And that's when we're gonna see it also finding its way out of places on the tree. And that's kind of why this is a good time to go in there and get that, plug our leaks while they're happening. The reason I'm concerned about that is the energy of this tree leaking out. That is so almost cut all the way in through. And there. Yes, no, maybe, yes. Yes. No, maybe. Definitely yes. No, maybe to it. All right, now, once again, I'm going to try to use these little channel locks to hang on to a wire that I'm about to start bending. What I don't want to happen is I don't want the end that I just cut down here next to the little channel locks to spin around and dig into the branch as I start trying to unspiral this wire from said branch. And that guy is tough. Little channel locks that could, golly, they're the little tools that could for sure. Okay, let's do this. Like cutting links off of a chain. Boom. There they go. Like I said. We're not without our cornage. Few needles. A lot of copper. We are winning. Power of attitude. This stuff's just falling away now. This is a plastic pot. It's a good thing this is a plastic pot because I just smacked it with those bolt cutters. I do okay. I do okay. I say I do okay because I'm also a known clumsy quantity. Like it would be my superpower. Always survivable, but yeah. Sometimes only just. Oh my goodness. This piece of wire is like the gum that won't come off the end of your finger. Oh, I got you. You thought you could taunt me. Oh wow, where did you come from? Like, that's weird. I don't see wire anywhere, but suddenly I've grabbed this big, huge piece of wire. Oh, goes up. It's in here. And the foliage. Oh, yeah, you're going to see this later. This is going to leave a mark. Really? Really? Come on now. Let's go all the way around. I have to wreck all these needles. Doesn't this wire know how clumsy I am? There's no way we'll get away with all of it. Alright, I hope you guys are okay. Yeah, we'll check on you in a couple of weeks and see how they look. All right. Keep moving. That's the secret to it. Yes. Yes, Patricia. Okay. A lot of winning over here. I'm over here in the bushes, but a lot of winning over here. So much winning. Okay. Yep. First the end. Where do we want the end? I do some wiring on my black pines, and I do some wiring. I've done some wiring to my oaks. I've also done some wiring to my cypress trees. I've experimented to see how I like wiring. So far, there are things for which I like to do clip and grow, and there are things for which I definitely think that wire, either copper or aluminum, is definitely the way to go. Basically, I'm not in either camp that says one or the other. I'm all for having all of the bonsai tools at my disposal to do good work. If something needs to be wired, let's have that be something that we know how to do well enough to where we can do that. So I'm not opposed to wiring. I'm not opposed to clip and grow. I'm not opposed to anything that's bonsai that I know of. I'm pretty much pro healthy trees. I'm not a big advocate for trying to keep trees small through starvation or keeping one's lifeline just barely on a tick. Now, I think there's usually ways to achieve those goals, those same goals, which is a smaller tree, and have it thrive and be healthy and happy. So that's, I would say, if I'm in any camp, that's the one I'm on. I don't know that wiring has any say on how healthy your trees are or not. I think it's fine as a practice. Yeah, that's pretty much about that. I have seen things for which I think wiring is not as helpful as what we might hope. There's definitely some of that out there. Oaks, I found that my attempt to wire my oaks led to them getting wire marks that were not easy to get rid of. And that would be, I think, the same with maples and stuff. You wire things but you're going to be watching and removing, or watching and just at least moving it out of that spot continually. I suppose along with that, measuring how worth it that was to you in the long run. Felt like I got enough of a cut on that to get that guy to come loose. Maybe not. Big old huge chunk of wire. So, okay. We've just removed all the wire from everything on this side. And yeah, I've got quite a bit of cut paste to apply on the back side of this job. We're not at that part of this guy yet. However, this part looks like, to me, it looks like when I did my styling, I took the wire in the opposite direction. I bent it in an opposite direction than the tree had been wrapped. So which is kind of a no-no, but see, I didn't wire the tree. I just decided where I wanted the branches after somebody else wired the tree. Or I would have wired these branches, I would have wrapped the wire in a different direction. As it is, the way I bent the tree caused a lot of these wires to separate. So the damage that we were seeing on the other part of the tree, we shouldn't be seeing here. That's for one. And two, it should be easier to cut off because it's not as embedded, as thick anywhere. We have just a little bit left to go, and I think compared to what we've already been through, this part should be fairly painless. Also, get cocky. I don't know, little drops. How am I gonna get all this pine sap off of me when I'm done with this job? One, I won't really mind it so much because it smells so good, but it does start looking black almost immediately. But the answer is baby and or olive oil. My oily rag will break down that resin really, will make quick work of that stuff, actually. Golly. You guys get a sense for how hard that was to bend? That was really hard to unbend. Give up, Dorothy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I felt that candle in there. Felt like I may have damaged that tip. Not flopping around or anything, but I felt like I was pushing on some tendons a little. Felt a little tendony in there. I have felt pretty good about most of the stuff we've done tonight. I don't think I've created any more hardships for us. I don't think I've added to any of our injuries. I think what we're doing is pretty good work. She says that she grabs the pliers to try to cut wire. I will feel better on the back side of this project, though. I will feel better about having done this. Frida is lounging on a different sofa. Oh, she's at a different day bed. Actually, she's at the day bed that y'all see her at quite a bit when I come in from the balcony. That day bed is the bright yellow one. Came from France originally by way of an antique dealer in Church Point, Louisiana. I liked it because I liked its color, and that's original, really old patina on there. I don't think a dealer did that. I think that was probably the color of somebody's baby's room. Van Gogh yellow. I win. We're just kind of going through here, getting our little victories where we can find them. Like I said earlier, it's a big deal. Try, and we've been doing that to remove this wire, lift it as straight up from the trough that it made as you can, so as not to widen it or scar up the edges or entrench it any more than what's already happened. Now, actually, kind of close. I'm actually kind of close to a few of our bud sites now, our graft sites. Pretty tough. Score. Yeah, a lot of the damage that I see, a lot of the dripping and stuff is from right in here. So this is the source, it looks to me, of quite a bit of what we were seeing. I suppose in a way, it's probably not good that was that close to those bud sites also, but that definitely would have increased sap flow. So, yeah, I mean, there was an open wound right there, just hosing. This is going to take a little bit, getting all this off my fingers. It's going to be a little bit more of a serious undertaking. I want to go in here with cut paste here pretty quick though. I guess we'll keep moving with what we're doing here. I love this tree. This tree, golly. I love, love, love this tree. I'm just looking at the work of all the bins that we put in it, and most of the bins are holding just fine. We use this stuff or we don't use this stuff. The tree has just pretty much responded to everything I've done in a really positive manner, and I gotta say I really like the place we're at when it comes to this guy. So it looks like. There. Yeah, this part, there was, for that damage to be there, it's pretty interesting because for the most part, this side of the tree is not nearly as entrenched as the other part was. It might have been that the end of the wire had cut in or something, you know? Actually, there was more than one side, so there was probably where are you at? Okay. Yeah, that's it. Right there. One reason copper wire is so good for conifers is when you go to take it off, it blends in. You go, well, I wouldn't have thought that I'd have a hard time seeing copper wire, but it does. It's like there's always one more piece. You see, all these little shapes are just staying in there so nicely. Thank you so much, tree. I had no idea whether this was just gonna like totally relax or what once I unwound it, but I suppose, you know, once you let it bite in that much, some growth has definitely happened. Great. I'll look down and now I can't find where I just was. You were right here, Patricia. Easy. Don't get all excited. Oh, come on. Well, I've made whole movies faster than I've unwired this tree, but that's okay. We don't charge by the hour. And what would that say about the caliber of movies you work on? Well, not every. You don't want a credit on every movie you do. Sometimes it's just a check. Wow. Somebody did such a beautiful job of just perfectly lassoing. We're about to run out of stuff to unwrap here, though. That's the good news. We're not out, but we're about out. Oh, tree. Go, my tree. Where'd he go? That where it goes, still laying up in there. Yeah, it is. Pretty big pile of wire we got going here. It's okay. We're also doing good stuff. My arms feel like they're about to fall off. I've got these long arms are helpful. I'm handy with changing light bulbs. I can reach everything on the top shelf, and often do when other people are just standing there and need help. I'm like you. But the bad side to that is they run out of blood really quickly when you've got your elbows up and you're working. Those long limbs run out of. They're taxing. They run out of energy pretty quick. All right. Okie dokie, I'm going to bring that around, show you guys what's going on. We just removed a ton of copper wire from this Ponderosa, and now I've got a fair amount of cut paste to apply. I've got a good bit of that to do. We'll just grab us up a fairly large chunk, break it off into 2 or 3 little small balls here, put our clothes back on, and start dabbing. Good work we're doing here. We want to keep all the hard work and all the energy that this tree made. Let's see how much of that we can keep in the tree. And while at the same time stopping it from doing any further damage to these branches. By removing all that wire that was starting to bite in, and it was starting to bite in pretty deep. I've got a lot to do here, y'all. This is going to be a minute into itself. I'm going to do maybe 5 minutes of this. I'm going to do maybe 5 minutes of this pasting on your time, and then I'm going to cut you guys loose. If you have watched until now, surely you've had enough. Surely. Okay. Like and subscribe. If you guys haven't already, they're not all longer than the making of Ben Hurt. I think our last drop before this was like 15 minutes. They're not all that short either, though. But we'll do something that probably won't take days. Tomorrow, when we go out on the balcony, we'll find something cool to do out there, and we'll do that. In the meantime, I appreciate you and my little sidekick, Frida, the looker. She's the doll. Just a quick little look at our guy, and yeah. The reason we had to do all this is we've been feeding it, and we've been treating it good, and we've been watering it, and in that time it has gotten really fat, and that fatness has caused it to bust out a little bit in between its wires, and now I'm coming to the rescue and removing said wires and plugging any gaps that I see that we have, hopefully allowing for a retention of its energy. I don't want it bleeding out all these all this sap. It's pretty to see. It smells really good. It smells like butterscotch, but yeah. All right. Thank you all. Thank you all so much for watching. Let's just do a whole rotate here. I think I've got enough room to go all the way around. No bud sites were harmed in the making of this program. Okay. Yeah. All right, we're gonna stop this here.